have to fight off all the feminist women in the world if you're walking
Yeah.
around giving them that suave look wearing that. I couldn't ever see you in an overcoat like that, but do you have any like what are those called? Just a jacket. They call them a
Oh yeah,
visor. What's the word for them?
yeah, I'm not sure what that is, but I know I asked him like because a few weeks ago I don't even remember. I went to mall department store because I just kind of went one day. I'm like, I've always wanted a bathrobe. I'm just gonna go buy a bathrobe. I've got money. And when I was in there, like, because it was like one of those places that still had like the old guy that was like the guy in the store for men's clothes. And I asked him, like, what, like, if I wanted a smoking jacket, is that still a thing? He's like, no.
They don't even make them anymore.
Like, I'm sure somewhere, but like, I don't know if I can't. Like Macy, is that where I went? Did I go to Macy? No.
I know I would have want one because I got all stinky back when I haven't smoked a cigar in a while because I started puffing this vape thing to try to quit the cigars, but I smoked them when I was walking dogs around and it made all my clothes stinky, and the vape thing doesn't make my clothes all stinky, but it's also gay.
I wonder if what smoking jacket. Where can I go to get a smoking jacket nowadays?
I could totally go for Commodore Jensen says I have one.
Walmart
has
$152.10.
Well, I guess there we go.
Smoking jacket.
Hey, Troy says RFM looks ready to disco and get funky like it's 1979. Yeah, those are the AIs. I guess all of these are 1980s stuff that Jonathan made. So we horked them from him. He had a whole bunch of them, and I was going to show them last week, and I forgot to show them. But they're all pretty funny. Maybe I'll show some of them now since I forgot last week. But they are good, quite good.
Profile has been the Siegfried and Roy looking one. I've kept it on there in part because like it's got I've got an earring in it, and it and it messes with people because I look like I could be gay in that because I'm dressed like Siegfried and Roy with an earring. But it's just funny because like I get into these retarded Facebook fights with fucking communist leftists, and like how often they were like how it always is, like within two rounds they have completely run through all their DNPC stuff and they're out of anything, and they're like, you look like you got your picture at Glamour Shots. I'm like, it's fucking AI, you retard. Like, come on. It's funny, that's all it is, but that's where they have to go.
There's a Jim Bennett. I bet he has an actual picture like that in his past. He's such a hippie kid and a theater kid. I bet he has some hippie pictures, even though he was a Mormon in the 80s. What's that? Why'd it go that direction?
That's the wrong direction.
Yeah, I probably just showed something bad there. That's the one we've got tonight for RFM. And Bill, oh, who's that? Oh, it's Divas. We showed that on Divas last week. Freaking Divas. Divas is on the Reddit atheist rampage of the century. Jonathan, that one looks like it got photoshopped after, like something about his neck looks photoshopped on that one. Carden, we showed that one last week. Dan Vogel, Feel Real, something looks off about his face. That's the other one we posted.
That's accurate.
Angry Flip. That's accurate. The anger is accurate. My same pic. There's me that shirt. I should use that. This thing freaks me out because like it does my exact hairline. I buzz my head right now, but my hair grows. It grows very John Nicholson-y. And part of what drives me crazy is how it grows John Nicholson-y. And I don't even know that I sent Jonathan very much of it. I don't know if like the AI figures out what my hair looks like just from the buzzed head. Like, did it do that? I wonder if it can.
Yeah, I wonder.
Because it's like figured it out from my buzzed head.
It can read your DNA. It just knows.
It's freaky. Except they give you a mustache. Can you grow a mustache like that?
No, nor do I have chest hair.
That's not enough.
Smooth.
That's not enough entrada on my hairline, so I got that one wrong. Entrada means like entrance in Mexico, like the big Jack Nicholson sides like that. They call them entrances, like entradas. Yeah. Oh yeah, short hair flip.
That looks color. Like the headshots from excess cast from Star Trek.
That one looks Latino for sure.
That's still
Like
a little bit more mustache than I can get. I haven't done it yet. Like I've actually like I just don't care that much. But because we had
you
that
could get
conversation a couple
DEI
weeks
points.
ago.
Like you tell people you're Latino, they don't believe you. But if you did get the mustache going, you'd
Yeah.
probably be able to get
But there are
hired
times
as
it's
a
like
school superintendent or something.
I haven't like where I go, I don't shave between Thursday and Sunday evening, and I've thought about taking a picture of Jonathan. I'm like, this is it. Like this is seriously all the facial hair that 3 days of growth gets, because I don't think he understands how little facial hair I grow.
Yeah, that's it on that. Anyway, more recap this. So you got a Blues Corner. Oh, by the way, Jared's not here tonight. He's on the road. Maybe he's listening to us. Maybe his face will pop in driving on a road with babies in the car, like he shouldn't be doing. But maybe he'll do that. He was going to try to get here on time to pop on, but he's not going to be popping on. And Flip's got his overtimey work that he's doing to get out to see his kid in England, so he's going to cut early, and I'll probably cut with him. No point in going crazy long, although there's enough crap out there. Just getting through the slides. Yeah, there's a ton of crap.
The DNPC, they are pushing this Antifa doesn't exist / your grandpa Antifa thing.
I just saw Kimmel trying to push it.
They're pushing it.
It's unreal, man. I mean, if you like, Andy knows documented it. I have the book right there, but somebody has some link. I had some link that people. Oh, you had the link. I saw you post the link.
Oh, that's been my new thing on every post where it's like, Republicans are so stupid. Antifa doesn't even exist. So I just post the antifa.org where it like gives all the chapters with links and how to join and how to find them. And that's the other thing that's just so obnoxious about this is like, I scroll Facebook and it's like, fucking Antifa doesn't even exist. There's no such thing as that. There's no such thing as Antifa. Rose City Antifa. Right, like they'll actually post shit in between the posts from leftists saying there's no such thing as Antifa. It's like, and this is the thing about them, like, okay, they know, right? They know they're lying. They're not confused.
Jimmy Kimmel said on his show, he said, "There's no chaos anywhere, and if there is, go ahead and post it so we can see it." Like, is he serious? Like, no, like, is he really that bubbled off from it? He hasn't seen 10 years of nuttiness from these guys. I saw some video tonight of them trying to crash a helicopter with laser lights.
I saw the report of that. Yeah,
I watched them do it.
Well, look, some kids on a Republican Discord made some edgy jokes, and that literally justifies everything Antifa has ever done retroactively, because Republican kids made edgy jokes.
Yeah, that's the most important thing in all of politics. Do they have that all listed anywhere? Or, I mean, I've just heard other people report on it. It just looks like all edge jokes, like stuff that you should know is edge jokes, obviously. But obviously they're not sitting there and saying like, I'm with the Hitler thing, we should do the Hitler stuff. But
one of my family members literally just posted that, like, this proves everything. Like, no, it doesn't. And also, like, it's because, like, okay, first off, they did it in like a secret Discord. And never mind that it was just edgy jokes. It was also like not even public. Whereas Facebook just has like open calls for violence, and they openly talk about their hatred. Like I saw some feminist Facebook post, and it was like, stupid Republicans think that feminism is about hating men. And like one of the first comments was like, I can't remember exactly what it is, but it's literally like, misandry is what I do for fun. Like, feminist is my job. Misandry I do for fun. It's like, okay, there it is. Like,
yeah, it's exactly the same thing as the jokes. But they dare to post it just all over. Although nowadays on Twitter, on X, there's plenty of people posting edgy jokes from the right too. But the left has never had to censor that stuff. Half of ex-Mormon Facebook, if it were leaked as some sort of secret leak to the people from the left, it has enough edgy jokes from the left in there that it should cause the same reciprocal outrage. But no, that doesn't. Yeah, that doesn't count. I was just answering somebody else, kind of trying to justify a Charlie Kirk shooting. This is a funny joke. They used slurs over 251 times over 2,900 text messages. No, and then you got to pump those numbers up. Those are rookie numbers. Yeah, I mean, I've seen like Matt Walsh and Crowder all just kind of defend it and go Come on, you guys. It's edgy jokes. These are just a bunch of dumb kids. The only person they found of any note was a White House staffer who they admitted had not commented on the thread, but they think that he should have chimed in and chewed him out or something like that. But
Yeah.
of course, a bunch of the main difference is like that Jay Jones dude. That Jay Jones dude, no Democrats come out and said anything. Did you remember that video? Did I show you that video of that lady asking her to say something about it at the debate, and she wouldn't say anything about it?
No.
Oh my gosh, that's the worst. But this Jay Jones one, not mentioned at all on any single channel.
Oh yeah,
there.
that.
The guy who said that he genuinely believes that those Republicans their parents should feel the pain of their kids dying in their arms so they'll change their politics.
Well, that's the other thing about the Republican kids Discord thing is that, like, because I saw all this reporting on it from the left before I ever even investigated it, and they all made it sound that it was like Republican thought leaders, like it's like party leaders and stuff, and people that are like names within the movement. It's like, and it wasn't anything like that. It was random kids.
Okay, here's this thing I was telling you.
Would it take him pulling the trigger? Is that what would do it? And then you would say he needs to get out of the race? Abigail, you have nothing to say? Abigail.
Oh, she's
what
holding
if
back
he
a
said
smile.
About your 3 children? Is that when you would say he should get out of the race, Abigail? You're running to be governor.
Miss Earl Sears.
I mean, we're talking about murder. We're talking about someone's life being taken from them. Have you nothing to say about that?
Meanwhile, despite that being a bunch of kids, almost half of the Republican Party, like most of the people like Walsh and Crowder, are chewing out the Republicans for giving in and saying, I denounce this. But almost all the rest of them, like Ben Shapiro denounced Walsh for telling him to not denounce it. They all just came out and said, we all denounce this far and wide. We denounce it. We denounce. And
are you not going to address it?
A bunch of kids making edgy jokes.
Really, you can't go any further. You're a governor. You're supposed to stand up for all the people. Are you saying political murder is all right?
Nobody on the left said anything about it. They didn't even cover it in the news at all.
Did we even get a Republicans pounce?
No, yeah, I don't know. I don't know that they even did a Republicans pounce. I don't know. There's Risto. Republicans aren't racist. Young Republicans National Federation group chat. Oh no. I want to see what the posts were too. Just to read. I know some people passed on that they're edgy jokes, but I want to like read through it and see if it is all just super obviously jokes. If it's out there anywhere, but whatever. No, that's all of the. Let's see here. Did you see the stuff following up on K911?
I saw a little bit, like, because like didn't he come out and said like, oh yeah, it is a shock collar, but not really. After he said it wasn't any kind of shock collar, and he very obviously is just zapping the dog to keep the dog in the spot, which is weird. Like,
yeah,
like it really is like the dog is a streaming
prop.
Yeah, that's the word.
He's completely a streaming prop, and he's done a bunch of stuff. I guess what's her name? Dang it, I already forgot her name. One of the stupid female journalists has come out and said all the stupid journalist stuff for, not Laura Loomer, that's on the right. But she came out and said he didn't even have a shock collar on. So like the thing's gone from it wasn't a shock collar to it was a shock collar, but he took the prongs off, to he didn't even have a shock collar on. And so that's kettle logic, right? That's all kettle logic on the answering. It's going to turn out that he doesn't even have a dog. He doesn't even have a dog. K911. He's getting ripped apart for this. Like the left wing is not having it as much as the right wing is. And like
it is so funny.
This might be what kills him.
The guy who's been literally shilling for terrorism and calling for violence and political assassinations, like an actual fucking communist commentator on Twitch. And the thing that pisses him off is the shock collar on the dog. They're like, oh, well, that's cruelty. You can't do that. Like, geez, like, that's the mildest thing he's done, rhetorically anyway. You know, like
Commodore Genesis says, y'all know he's Chunky Yogurt's nephew. I do know that. I actually followed him way before he split off of them. I remember for years, Actual Justice Warrior would cover them, and everybody would cover them. Atheism is Unstoppable made a living off of covering them at first.
oh yeah, that's right.
And then like Chad
What do you call
Felix
him, Brown
Green,
Fabio?
all those types of people. Just, I mean, I don't know how they watched enough of the Young Turks to do it, but
I don't like. I mean, I don't know how anybody gets to be a famous political commentator. Like, I mean, he's so dumb.
yeah, he's
Like, what? How is he the guy? Like, he's not even that sophisticated.
well in his
guess
realm.
maybe
It might
that's
be
it.
they think he looks like a model or something like that, and can semi hold a debate a little bit, but not really. I don't know. I don't know how he took off as the guy.
Like, he makes millions.
I see some people making a run for it. Like I think Adam Friedland, because Adam Friedland will have on like Michael Knowles or stuff like that. Adam Friedland used to be part of the what was that podcast called? Three comedians. Stavros is on it. Stavros, Adam Friedland, and Mullen dude. It was called Chapo Trap House. And Adam Friedland's kind of making a run to be the new Joe Rogan of the left, but because he's able to communicate and talk with people a little bit, and he's fine having conservatives on and can hold his own with them, and jokingly. So maybe he'll overtake the Hassan, the Hassan hole, the great big giant Hassan hole in people's hearts. Check. I'm trying to find this thing. Hold on. I've got this thing that came out of Anna doing like the worst. Here it is.
For a second there, Anna Kasparian was looking like she was coming out of the leftist cult bubble a bit, but it seems that she's just bounced right back in.
Yeah, listen to this.
Larry Ellison can tell me how my ass tastes.
Yeah.
Okay, how about that?
Yeah,
Right,
so-
disgusting, weird Oracle founder going around talking about like, yes, we're gonna surveil everybody. Everyone will be on their best behavior. Yes, you're a freak. You're a total freak.
It was cracking out because that's like that's Jew memeing. You know what I mean? Doing like the rubbing your hands together and putting like a little face on. So she's doing like straight up like a, because Larry Ellison's the one buying up, what was it, CBS, and put Barry Weiss in there as like the head of news or something like that.
Dude, that was funny watching the left fucking lose their shit about Barry Weiss getting that job.
That's what she's losing her shit about right here. She's mad at Larry Ellison, but she's doing the Jew hands and oh yes, and that sort of stuff.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right,
So
creep.
So these right wingers posted showing that face, going like, oh yeah, like the anti-Jew right wingers, like, ooh yeah. Anyway, this might really kill Hassan Piker. We might not ever have to hear his stupid, shitty ideas anymore.
I don't know. I think he'll make it through.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
AIU is back, man. YouTube let AIU back. So go find him. It's called like AIU Resurrection on his
I thought it got killed again. Is it still going?
No, it came back.
Because I'm not getting like I don't get whatchamacalls from him, the suggestions. In fact, it's weird. YouTube, some of the stuff they're suggesting.
It's gone. The algorithm's weird right now.
Like today I got some weird thing that was some non-Trinitarian bitching about Trinitarians and like it had like 160 views. I'm like, what the fuck is this? And it was so stupid. And then I posted a comment making fun of him, and the creator hearted it and said, I want this on a t-shirt. But
here it is. It's there. AIU Resurrection, 27K subscribers, and he put all his old stuff on there, I think. Some of it used to be behind it. Oh, look, he's already covered her doing the Jew fans stuff. I've not watched that episode yet. Yeah, I mean, I guess in the past it would have been algorithm to me, but not anymore. So AIU Resurrection, there it is.
Subscribe. Now I'm on a watch list.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, like no, I am torn about the guy because, like, I mean, we mentioned it before that like some of the stuff where it's like, I feel like he used to satirize the disparity of talk about
The race
stuff, but like some of those videos, I'm like, I think he might just be an actual racist.
Yeah, well, he is a Democrat, so
Yeah.
One of the things, like, he drive me nuts because he's still like he's a super Sam Harris fan and all that, right? And still just like holds tight to Sam Harris, but he 100% stands by wanting to vote for Hillary Clinton and Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. Even though he's got no bones about saying Kamala Harris was an idiot, but he still stands by it. But yeah, then on top of that, he's just a race realist, as you'd call it, or over the topist. Wilford Riley, you really just need to learn therapeutic languages and you can do anything. A blowjob a day is my love language, puts me in a safe place. This fact is why most people are getting worse from therapy. And this is fighting gentrification. This white family refuses to live in any neighborhood that isn't 100% white to fight gentrification. It's like you really can like pull like a reverse maneuver on everything. You know what I mean? Like we don't want to go gentrify any black neighborhoods, so we'll only go to already completely white neighborhoods. It's
that's the thing. Like in 1 week's worth of New York Times, like I learned that if white people leave a neighborhood because it's getting shitty, that's white flight, and that's a form of white supremacy. And if white people move in to a shitty neighborhood and it gets nicer, that's called gentrification, and that's a form of white supremacy. And white people live on stolen land. So if they just are where they are, they're committing white supremacy. So literally coming, going, and standing still, white people are committing white supremacy.
It's such a joke that they got into that same thing when it came down to how do you cast a black person in any movie? Because if you cast them in a stereotypical black role, that's just stereotyping. If you cast them as a hero, there's something wrong with that. You cast them as a hero because you're just putting them in as a token or something like that. If you cast them as a villain, they can't be a villain because of this or that, the other. And
that's feeding into stereotypes.
But it was one of the reasons I was saying last week, because ex-Mormons should pay attention when they do this too, is that the answer, like if you are making a criticism and you know that if the opposite of your criticism were happening, you would also criticize that, you're doing bad criticism. You just hate the thing. I think any sort of real criticism has to be like, if you were doing the opposite, I would not criticize you for this, or I would think that would be a better choice. Indigenous Peoples Day.
Oh, man. They really pushed that one hard this year too.
Did it? I didn't see a ton about it.
Oh,
I saw some people kind of, but
I did get a little bit of some action from, I don't even know, some lefty Native American type page where there's like, we were here first. I'm like, well, no, you displaced the people before you, who displaced the people for them, and so on for 10,000 years. And I actually got a few people like, yeah, no, that's accurate.
Yeah. I didn't see a ton of Candace this week. Maybe the algorithm just didn't push it to me. I don't know if she's even she must be, but I didn't.
I don't know how, because like I haven't watched
any
to a lick of Candace in years.
I only started watching with the
because of the Charlie Kirk stuff. But man, because like you were sending daily reports.
But I stopped watching it, and maybe it was just an algorithm thing. Like I didn't see it pop on the algorithm all week, so I didn't watch it.
I do think it's funny though, because like going all the way back to when she first came on the conservative scene, and there were all those people like, guys, don't trust her, she's a grifter. Like they pointed out that thing where like just months before she tried to make that tattling website, whatever it was. And yeah, it's funny, all those creators that like yep, they were right. They were 100% right. She's not the real deal.
So I didn't hear this, but I just saw this and heard it, so I thought I'd mention it. There was a flight leaving at the same time around when Charlie Kirk got killed, right? And some people thought there was weird stuff about the flight logs. And it turned out it was this couple going on vacation. And so then she started questioning if this couple was in on killing Charlie Kirk. And it was just a couple going on like some vacation somewhere. But this person puts out there that it's not here on this one. One of the things that she did is like there was something on the flight logs, or a thing that uses the letters UTC or something like that. Do you know what that is on flight stuff? something to do with the timing, but Candace thought that
yeah.
meant Utah Standard Time, which isn't a thing.
Oh yeah.
And so and then she like started like linking these guys back to possibly being part. They were just going on vacation.
What is UTC time?
I don't think it's a time. I think it's
Coordinated universal time. I knew it was.
Yeah, so she thought it meant Utah time or something.
Yeah. Only net positive groups get support in this country, usually, and for good reason. I don't understand what that's supposed to mean. Or that, because that's what? No.
Lots of
Is that a troll?
the net negative groups get Commodore. I think that's Sinatra.
Is that Sinatra?
Indigenous people brought a bow and arrow to a gunfight. They.
I remember years and years ago. I thought it was so funny because I was listening to NPR. Had to have been more than 10 years ago because it was before NPR completely went off the deep end, but close to it. And I remember thinking it was just so funny because like it was when I finally learned something, and I learned it like it wasn't a direct fact they mentioned. It was almost like indirect, but they mentioned that the Supreme Court ruled that the descendants of the slaves owned by Cherokee people get to claim Cherokee Nation status. And that was the day that I learned that the Cherokees owned slaves. I was like, they never mentioned that in school. And all the history,
they were some of the last slave owners too.
Like as much as I learned about the history of slavery in America, they never mentioned, and the Cherokees owned slaves. And like the Trail of Tears, they took them with them.
Those oh crap, I forgot what I was gonna say. But there was some black owners too of slaves.
Yeah. Like I think at the outbreak of the Civil War, like a third of Louisiana slave owners were black, and a bunch of them fought for the Confederacy, because they wanted to preserve their system. Well, that's the other one, like things they never taught in school. I always forget the guy's name, but the guy who, like, in the 17th century brought the case to court that established slavery in the colonies was a black guy.
Wow. Anyway,
I forget his name. I'm gonna find him. Like, he was a half black, half white guy from I think Angola.
But this fucking MAGA person just bought Dominion voting systems. We are officially fucked. Let's get into it.
I was told that they can't be cracked, So, so the less upset that a MAGA person now owns the Dominion voting system.
There we go.
What were you looking up? You were looking up the slave owner?
That guy. I was just so. Let me share the share. I'm gonna share the share. In fact, for all I know, he's one of my boys, Anthony Johnson.
Oh, you might be related to you.
Who was from the Kingdom of Ndongo, Portuguese Angola.
Let me get back there. Where am I at?
He was a man from Angola who achieved wealth in the early 17th century colony of Virginia. Held as an indentured servant, he earned his freedom after several years in Grand Land. Where's the thing? Is this the guy, John Casser? No, this might not be the exact guy. I think. Maybe that's not the right guy. Because I know it might be, though. But, like, he was the guy that brought the case. He was like, no, I should be allowed to own slaves. The Casser lawsuit. There we go. Oh, there, John. Yeah, that's right. So, yeah, this is the guy. And that's the guy. John Casser was the guy at the center of the thing. But, yeah, so the guy who brought the case that established the slavery in the colonies was a black guy from Africa.
I saw some people talking about how, you remember Larry David and Ben Affleck found out that their grandparents were slave owners, which there's no slave. Us Mormons who do all our genealogy, I know there's no slave ownership in my history in the United States, but people are saying like you guys got like $600 million each,
Yeah, Adam Carolla.
and
was
you
saying
guys
that.
think that it was Corolla. And
Like,
like,
yeah, you guys are you're pro reparations, and you could give up half of your fortune and still have more money than you would ever possibly need, and you could do something about it. You could do the right thing, but obviously, 'cause that's obviously not ever been the point.
yeah. I was gonna say with the Antifa thing, Antifa doesn't exist. Did you see the thing that Keith Ellison, he was once like the leader of the Democratic Party, said he's never heard of it, and they showed his face saying he's never heard of it, and he posted a picture of himself in 2018 saying reading the Antifa book or something like that, and then another guy, like his son, posted somewhere that I joined the Rose City Antifa, one of the names of the Antifa groups, and it's like, okay, dude. It's like in some of the cases they're just being glib, but they're starting to do stuff with it finally.
Yeah,
but
I'm going to share another one just because we were talking about it. But here we go. This is what I've been posting on all of the people who say it doesn't exist. Torch Network.
oh yeah,
torch/antifa.org. And there's Asheville. There's Rose City Antifa. They don't exist. Atlanta Anti-Fascists. Not real. Central Texas Anti-Racist Action. Not a lot going on there, obviously.
they just barely brought the very first kind of RICO charges on some people who helped.
Oh, it's going down. That's right. It's going down. That's not a thing. Not a thing. Doesn't exist. Look at this idea. How can anybody even look at this idea?
Starbase Cola says Candace is on break. Oh, so it isn't out of my algorithm. I wonder if I just had the algorithm missing. Well, I guess there'll be a lot more to learn about him. Ute Chief Wakara was deeply involved in slave raiding other tribes to trade in the Spanish slave trade. Governor Brigham Young outlawed it, leading to the Walker Indian War in July. Wow, July 1853. I did not know that. So I went to the University of Utah and not Brigham Young. So do I owe reparations? Because that's a Ute and not a Brigham Young who should not owe reparations. What did you think about the announcement of old Dallas H. Oaks?
I mean, it's done by seniority, right? So it's not like a surprise.
It was
He's
surprised
90 already?
that it was Dallas. Dallas H.
Oh,
did you see
Dallas
that?
H. Jokes. So yeah, I was confused about that. Was that a joke or that?
No, the guy goofed up and said it.
Oh, that's why I saw all those memes.
Yeah. I didn't get them at first either. And so then I went and listened to it. I was like, oh. So I've got Bill Reel riffing on it here somewhere.
But Dallin and Henry are in their 90s. Like, man, we need some of these. We need younger people.
I saw somebody post on the Lobsters and he had video of him that he had just served him at a restaurant recently. And he said that, it's super nice. He was great. He didn't understand that somebody else had paid for his meal and he was confused. And I'm like, ugh. That sounds a little bit Biden-y,
I'm just getting ready to go down to the old Joseph Fielding Smith vault with the plates, but we've got a little assignment for you today, champ. The quorum thought, you know what, Gary's been really crushing it at smiling in photos and saying brothers and sisters with conviction. Let's give him the big one. The big one? Yeah, you get to conduct the announcement of the new first presidency. Don't freak out, buddy. It's basically like reading a sacrament program, but with millions of people watching. Millions? Yeah, but hey, you'll do great. Just read the teleprompter.
What was that guy's? What's his calling?
No
what
improv,
level is he?
no
Is he a
jazz
70 or
hands,
something?
I don't know who he is.
Brothers and sisters.
Neil Anderson?
No. Just read the words. We even ran a practice teleprompter with your name on it to make sure that you could say Gary Stevenson without turning it into Jerry Stavis. Remember that? That was a fun day. I won't let you down. That's the spirit. And remember, this is history, Gary. Just announce President Dallin Harris Oaks. Simple. Dallin, like Vallon, but with a D. Not Dallas, not Darwin, not Dale. We even printed it phonetically on the screen for you. Dallin.
I am Elder Gary E. Stevenson of the Quorum of the 12 Apostles of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints.
Oh, he is an
and have been
apostle.
asked to conduct this afternoon's announcement.
Dude, what's with the painting?
He's an
behind him?
apostle?
You from the conference center
That's in the building.
Utah on this
That's in the building.
Dude, that's
in
got a
the-
little bit of that Jehovah's Witness multicultural vibe.
Yeah, that all didn't used to be there. My dad used to work there, and I'd go visit him, so I'd have to go in that lobby, and that's all new, whatever all that is.
memorable occasion of the presentation of a new first presidency. With the passing of our beloved prophet Russell M. Nelson on September 27th, 2025, the first presidency was dissolved. The men previously serving as counselors assumed their places in the quorum of the 12 apostles.
That's too much. You could have cut that better.
Again confirmed to each of us in the quorum of the 12 apostles that Jesus Christ directs his church. We are honored now to announce that President Dallas Harris Oaks was set apart as the 18th president of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints.
Silly
We are
old
honored
guys.
now to announce that President Dallas.
Jesus, tap dancing Christ on a cornflake, Gary. It's Dallin. We rehearsed it. It's on the screen.
This joke could have
literally-
been this
been
could have been
30
20
seconds.
seconds long. Yeah,
Could have been 30 seconds. Yeah.
it's really overplaying it. But like, yeah, I don't know. Like on the one hand, like yeah, it's funny to see somebody screw up like that, but I also like it. Obviously, the way brains work, it's not that crazy of a thing to happen. It's a little strange that they couldn't do another take or whatever. I guess it was live, but
It was live. Yeah. What do you think about Christofferson? I pulled this up because it's the thing right there. And Christofferson, who's 5 down, got put in the presidency.
I wonder what that's about. Yeah, that is a little weird.
I imagine in my head that Bednar would be mad about that. Uchtdorf got moved out. Holland was probably too sick. He probably would have been Holland, but he's just not so healthy. So they probably just said, okay, we'll skip you. Uchtdorf, I think, has been on the outs ever since he got moved out. I think that all stems back to getting caught donating to a political party. But why did Bednar and Cook get jumped? I do think that's a little strange. I mean, they used to pretty much just go right down the line, didn't they?
Yeah, I guess I don't know. I never paid that close of attention. I always just assumed that God was making the choices.
Well, whenever Uchtdorf got chosen, that was a jump because Uchtdorf
Yeah,
was
no,
in the
I-
presidency, and
Yeah,
that was weird. I remember that being like, "What? They jumped all the way to Uchtdorf?" I don't know. At the same time, I
Uchtdorf
looked
came
up
to
their
my mission.
professions.
Uchtdorf came to my mission when he was still an area guy.
Yeah, I looked at their professions. I wonder if it has to do with that. Like Henry B. Eyring was like a major money financier guy, and D. Todd Christofferson was a banking CEO type guy. I wonder if it just has to do with being good at that. But I don't know. David Bednar was a professor of business administration, and Quentin Cook also did some sort of business admin thing. They're all MBAs, man. Well, doctoral MBAs, MBA doctoral, managerial revolution.
EBAs?
Yeah, EBAs. Is that what it's called?
They're doing business
Um,
as apostles.
Yeah, I
So
think
who's the baby apostle now?
they haven't announced one, and I don't know if they just had to already be called to choose one or something like that. Some people said that's so weird, and I said, well, they're probably not calling him anymore until they all slowly die out, and when the last one gets there, he's going to be called the beloved and live forever and ever and ever, and it'll be a new dark ages, or they'll just call a new one. Either one or the other is my guess. But
I don't. So how is it? Does the presidency pick? Does the whole quorum pick? How does that even work?
I think the quorum picks together for the new person,
Like who?
and I think the prophet chooses their sidekicks pretty well.
Yeah, I know the prophet chooses the sidekicks, but I mean, yeah, like how? I don't even know the process for a new apostle. Like, because somebody's got to make a short list, and then it's probably a lot like picking a candidate, where there's a short list and then they go through it. But like, is it the presidency? Is it the whole quorum? I have no idea.
I don't know.
Because yeah, I don't know. For me, I was always kind of like when I was in the church. I guess I cared, but now I'm like, yeah, it's like the boardroom of any big company. Like, what difference does it make who's in there? Like, they're all just suits.
I wonder if it has to do with like their business acumen, which everybody now is either a lawyer or some sort of business admin person or something like that. But
Yeah,
I don't know. There's still a part of me that just kind of thinks that just for how David Bednar seems, that I think that he'd be mad about this. I think he'd feel skipped. But I'm just guessing. I don't know. That sort of brings us to whatever the general topic. I'm going to talk to Big Simpin. Ben, look, there's Razor Fist dunking on Mormonism. Razor Fist keeps kind of sideswiping on Mormonism there. Jamie, bring up the Nauvoo Expositor real quick, please. But
I never even realized he was like. How long has he?
he's like evangelical. His dad was like, he said he's only recently gotten religious again.
I was gonna say yeah, because like none of his content was religious until recently.
Yeah, no, it wasn't. He said he's only recently done it, but his dad was some pastor growing up, so he grew up in it, and he never lost his faith in it. He just didn't really talk or care about it, and wasn't very active in whatever it is he's doing. But lately, has gotten active again.
Your dog's leaving the frame. Zap him.
that scared him last week when I did that. It really did. Man, it's so obvious. He just uses that for a prop because it's gonna like add money and it's gonna add, you know, people saying, "Oh, here's $5 for the doggo," and that sort. And he, Actual Justice Warrior did a video on it today, which he goes back in history and shows that they found it a bunch of other times where he zapped the dog, and then sometimes where he's talking about how he's training the dog to be set there in his place. He has this word. He goes, "Place, place, place," and just yells "place" to the dog to get back in the spot where it's just designed to sit right there in the picture for actually being a prop. It's unreal. Adams Fall says, I think second counter's always been up for dabs. Ryan says, Dallin H. Oaks was ahead of his time in overseeing sexual reorientation, affirming care for homosexuals at BYU. Where Troy says, thinks LDS, the propaganda looks very JW as well. I kissed Hunter's granddaughter in the BYU Jerusalem Center. Whoa. I dated Robert D. Hales's niece. I guess that's something, or grandniece. That would have to be too young.
I didn't kiss anybody, but my favorite, my best personal general authority story is that I saw Thomas Spencer Monson and Thomas Spencer Monson III, his grandson, without shirts on at different times and different places. Because I met when I was a kid. Yeah. So because I saw Spencer Monson in a swimming pool in Heber in the early 90s, and I had junior high with his grandson. So I had gym class with his grandson. And he was Thomas Spencer Monson III, but I saw them both without shirts on.
Yeah. So Ryan says there's a picture floating around social media with Trump pictured on the 12th apostle.
I wonder if he would take that job if you offered it to him.
The 12th, or maybe I'll be the first, the president of the quorum of the 12.
General conference ratings would go through the roof.
Yeah. Anyway, big Simpin. Why are we talking about the simps? The simps are and Be Real this week.
Yeah.
I wanted to just kind of like comment on that because just this week, RFM had a couple hours with Julie Hanks last Saturday, and then they had on some Substack writer yesterday, and I wanted to pull some of the stuff they talked about. But going all the way back to Mormonism After Dark last Friday, they felt that Oaks had given some sort of heartfelt thing about his dad, and they said it's the first time I ever viewed him as a human. And then of course a bunch of different people called in to remove that notion from them, like he's not a human, he's a sociopath. And some gal called in saying, I actually married into the family, and he's a sociopath. Oh really? What could you tell us? Well, they were just really, really Mormon. They were really, 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 really Mormon. And I was like, okay, but
they were really faithful and they prayed before every meal.
Yeah, she married the grandson of his brother, which I guess is like Merle Oaks, who was also a general authority at some point, passed a while back. She's like, oh, he was a really sweet man, but I don't know. The rest of them were just weird. They're creepy because they were super Mormon. And anyway, so since a bunch of people like called in to tell him, how dare you act like he's a human, I was wanting to call in, but I was out walking my dog because I'd zapped him too much that day. And I was like, man, I got to give this prop some exercise or it's going to act up next stream and I won't get enough super chats. So I had to be out walking the dog. But anyway, Oaks's speech for the first general conference, I think was about as good of a speech as anybody could hope for from a general authority who's Mormon X, Mormon or anywhere. Because the entirety of the speech, did you listen to it? Speech talk? What is it called? Talks? The entirety of it was go have kids, touch grass, have kids. And this is what I've just been kind of on about barking forever to everyone. I've been talking a little bit lately to some lady from the Deseret News who noticed me talking about that on Jacob Hansen's podcast. That she wants to do some sort of article with us and other people who are around here in the ex-Mormon world who are looking at, I directed her to Troy's and Jonathan's video about evolutionary reasons for religion and game theory type stuff for religion and that sort of deal. And I was just kind of going on and on and on with her about just the civilizational things, which is what I talked with Jacob about at first. It kind of goes back to Arnold Toynbee and Oswald Spengler's view of, it comes from Nietzsche too, that if you look at any sort of civilization, if you go through the Fowler's levels of faith, as religions go getting more philosophical, they die and they fart off, and that civilization dies and farts off, kind of almost like Rome does or something like that. And the point of it, I was saying, because they were even talking about Star Trek last Friday, and our old joke here is like, the future's not Star Trek, it's Islam or Mormonism, because they're the only ones having kids, you know. And it just came out, the elves, the wood elves, the base camp guys, they were talking about that there's all this new data out there that even Latin America, like the numbers have been underreported, like millennials and young kids in Latin America are all sub replacement rates, like almost all of Latin America is. Yeah, yeah, pretty wild. And Oaks is just right that if people want to do better, have happier lives, and be better, they should just touch grass, have kids, have family, you know. And in the meantime, Jonathan made a post about it, and he made a post about one of his jab the ex-Mormons posts. What do you call those? Jab the pokey at the trouble. Beautiful trouble. That's right. He has the term for it, which is isn't that borrowing from like some sort of term?
Yeah, no, he's hijacking it's communist action stuff.
Do you remember when we found that website of Beautiful Trouble where they actually had? Do you remember that website? There's a Beautiful Trouble website where they show you how to organize and how to get things and how to do Antifa stuff. There's like a whole website on just how you can get involved and do it and do Beautiful Trouble. Anyway, Jonathan likes to post on Mormon Stories, and he also posted on Mormonism Live a thing about natalism versus antinatalism. I don't know if I can find it here, but it was right on the same day that they were sitting there talking about, I don't know about this Oaks guy, but at least he loves his dad or something like that. I'm like, did you guys not notice the whole talk where he just said the thing that everybody knows is probably the best thing? Like, it's not that out of the ballpark to say everybody knows that that's the right answer right now. Like Elon knows that's the right answer right now. Touch grass, have kids. Touch grass, have kids. Have kids, have a family, touch grass. You know, you will be happier if you do that. I even appreciated that he kind of said, we're going to put a kibosh on this temple building here. And, you know, Russell Nelson loved to build his temples. Not announced that for a while. Touch grass, have family. Touch grass, have family. Touch grass, have family. I don't know if you'll be able to see this. I found Jonathan's Beautiful Trouble, but it's long and my eyes are terrible. Hold on a second here. So this was posted on the same day that they were asking that, and like they're asking, what did everybody think of Oaks' talk? What did everybody think of Oaks' talk? In the meantime, Jonathan had this whole post right on their page. I don't know if it referenced it or not, but can you see that?
It's very small.
Can you see it? I can't see. I can.
You'd have to zoomatize it.
I don't think it just goes down when I zoomatize it. Oh goodness, let me see if I can spread it somewhere else. But anyway, he noticed that Julie Hanks was going on the next night on RFM's thing, and Julie Hanks in RFM was very simpy for Julie Hanks because he got a simp for whatever's against Jacob Hansen in the world, right?
And did she basically just confirm what Jacob Hansen said?
Yeah, I mean, I've got the clips of it. I mean, one of the things she said is like, I was afraid for a long time that if I announced that I wasn't really in the church, I'd get less Mormons. Like, yeah, well, that's kind of the entryism that we talk about there. You know, that you should kind of just be honest about that stuff, and you know, it just looks fuzzy when I paste it over to Let me see if I can see it. I can see the big words. Ideology and resentment's core concepts. An ideology is a collection of assertions and beliefs, some of which might be true, others not. A dogma is any of those beliefs or assertions that cannot be doubted or questioned. They must be accepted on as true or false. Your identity is a conception of yourself shaped by the ideology you've can't see it. The narrative of your world is influenced by the ideology you inherit, and the identity it creates, the narrative shapes. What you should do, the meaning of your interactions, the motives driving your relationships, all viewed through the strategy of that ideology, examining ideologies. Anyway, it just gets into ideologies and like what you take and what you pick up. And he got down into it somewhere where he was talking about natalism versus antinatalism. Somewhere in there it is. And that's down at the bottom of his thing. And he was just talking about, and then of course, oops, I got somebody's name on there. Sorry, whoever the crap that is. FYA, you are the kind of people who push me towards antinatalism. Neither are you willing to give us the briefest nod to pressing environmental or social problems that could be fixed if we had the slightest agreement or collective spirit. Instead, you focus on esoteric libertarian ideals and whine about the woke and trans people ad infinitum. If sapiens can't get their shit together, share the planet, and quit acting like entitled princesses, then yes, maybe there should be fewer of us. and it's just like bombarded with stuff like that.
Yeah.
And there's just like, there's nothing but like reaction of, how dare you say we have children? You're trying to control. Oh, look at this. There's a new, there's some show on Netflix called True Horror or something like that. And I clicked on it, and it was about a show it's about a house in the avenues in Salt Lake. There's my doggy. A house in the avenues in Salt Lake that I guess those two people from, what are all those Conjuring movies? Those two people, what are their names? The lady and the guy who were supposed things went to this house in Salt Lake to go look at it. So I'm trying to find out where it is in the avenues, but it's called like True Horror, True Haunting. It's all about some house in Salt Lake City. Anyway, so here's all this stuff. Feminism taught women that their love was a prison and told them their men were to blame. Common sense. Feminism taught women that their kindness was small and weak and told them their men were to blame. Feminism taught women that their professional had to look masculine in order to be worth anything. Feminism taught women that their selflessness was proof of their slavery rather than proof of their compassion, and told them their men were to blame. Feminism taught women that their righteousness was imposed instead of chosen, and told them that their men were to blame. Feminism taught women that they were small and told them that their men were to blame. And feminism taught women that this is stuff is like spicy stuff to drop on Mormonism Live and Mormon Stories. Which, speaking of which, is Mormon Stories on a break too? I don't know if that's just out of my algorithm. I don't know if John DeLynn still even has a podcast anymore. I'm just not watching it.
I barely tune in. Like, I don't know when the last time I even listened to any Mormon Stories.
Yeah. Anyway, so he's poking at that. And so then, like, in the meantime, you know, they're here. Well, here's this.
We decided to divorce in February, and it was final in May. So it was pretty quick.
Yeah. Well, congratulations.
Thank you. I feel like I graduated. I feel like we both graduated from our marriage.
Well, good. I've been divorced twice. I've got 2.
Hey, shut up. Let's see here. Graduated from marriage. I have some.
For some reason, like the weird irony of feminists that do that much cosmetic fiddling, like bleaching her hair blonde and clearly her lips and eyes are puffed up with Botox, and like it's just like, wait a second, I thought the whole point of feminism was that you don't do that shit. But I guess the whole thing with feminism is, well, heads I win, tails you lose. If I don't do it, you have to like it, and if I do it, you have to like it, and no matter what I do, you have to like it.
I think you're exactly right. It's just like the other things you noticed earlier that are both of them are wrong and right. I guess they're kind of examples of all the same. But let me see if I can. We're 1830.
People across that spectrum.
Anyway, this whole thing was in response to Jacob and some other gal having a video about her leaving the church and them saying that they were sad that she left the church, but then also kind of bringing up a bit one of the points of what are Rob Henderson's luxury beliefs, which Rob Henderson's luxury beliefs are, I'm going to tell you beliefs that are part of the newfangled way of being. We're going to do stuff different and better nowadays as part of the new, Foucauldian ways of having life. And they're people who've already built up the luxuries. They've already had a marriage. They've already had children. They've already built up wealth in some sort of way. And they're pushing it on to people who that's not going to be very beneficial for.
So is Lex de Azevedo her dad?
Yeah. Yeah, she had some sort of like a musical family who like created what's that show? The
Swan Princess.
No, not just the Swan Princess. Her family was highly involved in Saturday's
Sonny
Warrior.
And Cher, Michael Jackson, the Jackson 5, the Osmonds.
Saturday's Warrior. They were heavily involved with Saturday's
That's right.
Warrior.
He made Saturday's Warrior.
Yeah.
So, of course, she's privileged on top of everything else.
Yeah.
She grew up rich Mormon royalty.
I'm going to get a better definition of luxury belief. Briefly, I can't type around this stuff. Anyway, I'll go. Luxury beliefs, a term coined by psychologist Rob Henderson in 2019, refer to the ideas and opinions that signal high social status to affluent elites at minimal personal cost, while often imposing significant negative consequences on lower socioeconomic classes. Henderson, drawing from his experience growing up in foster care and later attending Yale, argues that these beliefs are replaced with material luxuries as markers of distinction in an area where the wealth is more visible. A key feature is that proponents are typically insulated from real world harms they advocate, creating a form of detached virtue signaling. But yeah, one of the large portions of that is saying, obviously you notice she comes from wealth and comes from all sorts of stuff, and she's some high-end therapist or whatever. But if that sort of stuff's being passed on to like a young, just imagine, we saw Divas dunk on Guadamax this week. Divas, the hard atheist dude, because Guadamax is announcing on X that she's getting married somewhere in some temple somewhere. And of course, but if that person was to take some sort of, we've all had concerns with her and where her life's going and that sorts of stuff. If that person was to take Julie Hanks's advice to go become, the best route for her is what she's doing. Her best chances are to go get married and start a family and do a thing, the LDS, the down H-Oaks way, from her socioeconomic status here in Utah. And that's just kind of the general point. How come that popped off? I didn't ask that thing to pop off. No, I think my computer's conking. Hold on. I've got two computers on, so it's... What in the heck? Anyway.
Slurpy dog.
Is he getting a drink?
Sounds like it.
Dang it, I thought I had it on. Why did this conk off?
We're such good podcasters.
No, I think my one computer's that I had the stuff going on is conking entirely. Anyway, I don't have a thing. It just goes on to say there that she felt like she's being bullied by Jacob Hansen, and Jacob Hansen made her leave the church and that sorts of stuff. Whereas Jacob was just, and the other person we're talking about, it being obvious that she was leaving, and everybody knew she was leaving 10 years ago because she would say stuff like the atonement's harmful and that sorts of deal. And like, well, I'm just speaking as a therapist. I'm just speaking completely as a secular therapist there. And it's just like completely obvious to all of them. And they notice it and say, watch out for that sorts of stuff. But if she was saying like to people, you got to leave the Mormon church and whatever, that sort of deal, I mean, that could also be like a luxury belief too. But ultimately, I would lean towards the feminism stuff of saying, oh gosh, you don't really need to do things how people did it since forever. We can just all create and march through our own ways through everything now in the future, and that's going to work for all of us because we're all vanguard, forward-thinking activist, type whatever types, and we're going to have this new exciting future of whatever. And it's like, no, the traditional way is what would work best for most of you. Dallin H. Oaks's larger message, like Bill Reel will call it harmful. Say, no, you guys have the harmful belief. Your luxury beliefs are the harmful ideas. Dallin H. Oaks's thing of most of you, it's not going to work for all of you. There's going to be fringes. With any sort of ideal, there's people who can't meet up to the ideal. But for most people, it is less harmful to go get married and have kids. Oaks is the less harmful one. You guys are the harmful one. And you're simping for Julie Hicks. We'll skip over to this gal over here because I lost the thing on. I think my thing's frozen up. Anyway, this is just the second one. This gal writes for some stuff. There's some things that I kind of liked about what she said. I'll show you at the very end because it's the last one we'll cover, and then we'll let you go and we'll call it a quick night unless anybody jumps on to debate us, because I put in the link up at the very, very beginning if anybody wants to come give us some shite. But anyway, I've got this. Dang, I wish my dang stupid other computer didn't freeze. It keeps doing that on me. 3326. So yeah, well, I'll just let this speak for itself.
Although motherhood for me has always been my highest and holiest calling, I do believe that I've loved it. It's been my greatest honor. But I do think
why does every feminist have to wear the stupid glasses? Is it a law?
Well, no, not to spoil at the end, but at the end she tries to say that she doesn't like feminist ideas because it shits on men too much. So I appreciate her. I'll simp for her a little bit about that. But she's, of course, getting challenged by their audience saying, don't you realize you're a feminist and feminism isn't about shitting on men and that sort of stuff. But maybe I'll pull it up like, yeah, right. Like, yes, there's maybe 3 people who call them feminists who aren't that in the world. Maybe she could be another one, but she runs away from that. So I'll give her that. But most of her Substack stuff here, like this one I'm pulling up here, she's talking, well, I'll let speak for herself.
Toxic dynamic within my marriage, because at that point there was not this equal power within my relationship, and if there's an individual in a relationship that takes advantage of that, it can become it can create toxicity. So even though, yes, I still made the decision to get married within my 20s, I didn't necessarily take the approach that most women took. However, as soon as I got married, that programming definitely took over.
That was the wrong spot.
Yep.
I meant to go to
die in the 1800s. And I think when you connect this to pornography, sharing the image, just one of these essays touched. So I'm going to try to interject last, because this next one I think is punchy. This one is The Ghost of Polygamy's Past. And again, we're just sharing the image of the article. It's just the very first part of it. So Sarah Steed, this was back in September of 25, The Ghost of Polygamy's Past. It says, look, polygamy didn't really die in the 1800s. And I think when you connect this to pornography, I think this is brilliant. Polygamy didn't really die in the 1800s. It just changed its outfit. It's not a historical artifact sitting in a museum somewhere. It's alive and well in the way that women are still taught to endure instead of ask, to submit instead of be seen, and to call that holiness. You draw this really haunting line between early plural marriage and the way modern LDS women still live in emotional scarcity, competing for crumbs of affection, caring more than their share and thinking that's faith. And you pull no punches when you tie it to pornography and half-present husbands, calling porn polygamy on a 24/7 loop. It's brutal and honest, but it hits. And by the end, you're not just talking about the past, but you're talking about the here and now, about how women are finally done folding themselves into smaller shapes just to fit inside a system built for someone else's comfort. And that's Mormonism. Women are a thing given to men if they serve their missions hard enough, if they're righteous enough, if they keep the commandments and do all the things and check all the boxes. And so I thought that was brilliant too. About how women are finally folding. I'm sorry. Hit me next sentence.
I just love that.
You call it love's counterfeit.
There's so much irony in this, but also in the weird characterization of it all. But also, I just love this thing like, oh yeah, men don't know what it's like to live in a world built for for women's comfort. Like no man has ever been in a heterosexual relationship and knows what it's like to alter everything about their living space for a woman's comfort. Yeah. It's so ridiculous.
Risto, did you pop on to debate us and dunk on us?
That's right. I don't know if you can hear me.
Cabin.
I am at a cabin, so I don't know how my connection is.
It sounds great. I thought I noticed like a ever so slight delay, but not really. But it sounds good.
Okay, yeah, there may be a delay. We're in the Upper Peninsula of Michigan.
Whoa!
So,
move.
Yeah,
that's
Lake
not
Superior
part
is out there.
What was that Norm Macdonald bit? I'm so tired of stuck up bodies of water. Get over yourself, Lake Superior.
Right.
So I'm gonna let this one keep playing for a second because I think she ultimately says that all of our pornography use in the current day Mormon church is all holdover from our polygamy past, and it's one of those things that you can tell is just like kind of almost perfect for like a social constructionist idea, sort of a great article, and it's just full of crap. Like I don't think it holds any water. I don't think polygamy played into people's current day pornography use in any way, shape, or form.
And you say it's time we stop romanticizing endurance as devotion. It's raw. And again, there's that endurance as devotion again. It's raw, it's redemptive, and it's one of those essays that left me thinking, yeah, maybe the real restoration is just women finally breathing again. And the quote here, men still practice polygamy. They just don't bother introducing you to the other women. Now, Joseph Smith didn't introduce Emma to the other women anyway, but going forward, it was like, first wife,
it's so fantastic.
Get on and take it, because this...
That's completely fucking wrong, because I realized a long time ago that the fantasy of pornography, because pornography, there's no magic, there's no special effects, none of that stuff is stuff that can't happen in real life. The fantasy of pornography is that you can have sex without consequences or attachment. That's the fantasy. That's the opposite of polygamy. Polygamy is all about attachment and consequences.
One of the biggest lies of all the 90s concepts of sex is that it could be casual in some way, shape, or form. That's the biggest lie ever. But the flip end of it is that well, he says the women are long suffering of it, but I guarantee you, as you listen to this, and Bill Reel likes it because it kind of dunks on Mormon. I don't know Bill likes anything that dunks on Mormonism, right? So it's kind of back to that thing. It's like, if it dunks on them, but I guarantee you, in his trauma coaching, he's going to tell people that there's going to be healthy uses of pornography. Is he not? I guarantee you, he has that stance.
What's happening? And the men did polygamy. You make this gutsy connection between old school polygamy and modern pornography, basically saying it's the same dynamic in new packaging. I want you to talk about that. How has porn and LDS marriages
ethical non-monogamy is that? That's the same.
No, exactly. I'd love to see her have this argument with Natasha Helford. That'd be interesting.
Version of plural wives where men.
But I mean, this lady's obviously, she says she's not a feminist. I don't know if she says she's ex and not a follower anymore. But at the same time, this whole thing would be kind of advocating for well, it doesn't just advocate for it. I mean, it is 100% no pornography. This is no nut November. This is straight Gavin McInnes Proud Boys levels of no jerking off ever type stuff. And those are the only people I know who get into that level of stuff. But those are righty sides. I don't know if anybody, is there any sort of leftist movement of no masturbation? Is that on that side of the aisle at all?
I mean, the closest is that feminists shame men for any amount of sexuality.
That's true.
But that's another
Men
damned if you do, damned if you don't.
still get variety, but women are expected to stay faithful to the loneliness.
Yeah. And this one was personal for me. I wrote it because I realized polygamy, it didn't just end, it just went digital, obviously. And this piece isn't, it's not the fact that this, that today's church still practices plural marriage, but it's the psychological and the emotional template that they still practice. That never ended, in my opinion. So polygamy, I don't think it didn't just shape marriages, it shaped women's nervous systems. And I go into detail about that in this article, but the theology evolved, but the muscle memory didn't. That stayed. I mean, you look around, you look in the church, and there's so many women that I know where polygamy's fingerprints are all over us. In marriages built on that silent endurance, in women praised for how gracefully they can suffer. That's a big one.
Like how can this be? Like I don't think my family wasn't polygamous. I don't have polygamy in my genealogy either, and I don't know how polygamy.
I do.
How? Oh, you have it in your family, but
yeah, my family history, yeah.
And do you think in your family history that has long fingers that holds into the current day of how people view women in marriage and stuff?
No, not at all.
One, in the way like the emotional neglect is still spiritualized as loyalty, staying quiet, staying grateful, sacrificing, serving. We like to treat polygamy like it's a relic, but it still is in our bodies. I felt that. I saw it in myself and many of my friends.
So
what is she talking about?
I guess that's what type of evolution is that? If we're getting back to evolution, it's that other type. It's the Lacanian, or not Lacanian, Lamarckian. The effects. So it affected the mother, so you feel it in the bones.
Grandpa had 8 wives, so do you.
And
the trauma of the women of Grandpa having 8 wives affected the birthing of the children.
Okay, so this is, I think you can see it the most. If a woman is grateful for crumbs, then you know that its fingerprints are all over you. So we call like this exhaustion within our relationships faith. And we think that that's the real inheritance, I believe, of polygamy, because it institutionalized the idea that love is like this limited commodity that men get to distribute whenever they want, and us women just have to kind of compete for. And that
it's such a weird caricature.
It's crap. It's
such crap.
But I mean, I guess it sounded nice for a Substack article. I don't know. Do you think there could be any merit to it, Reese? Though you that is around polygamy, you were born into the polygamy. Do you see us Mormons being affected by?
He says he's in the Upper Peninsula. Are you on Beaver Island?
Beaver Island, no.
That you got to go down that rabbit hole. The King of Beaver Island. John Strang was when Joseph Smith died. One of the leading contenders to take over the church was a guy called James Strang. And he took his followers to Beaver Island, which I believe is in the Upper Peninsula, and the local news called him the King of Beaver Island because he instituted polygamy up there.
Oh, are they still up there?
I don't think
but the sentiment is in all the kids. The sentiment is in the eyes and the feelings and the bones of the women.
The thing about the Strangites is that they actually have the domain name for Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints.com. Like, I mean, they might not anymore. The church might. I wonder if they still do. James Strang.
They're like Kwaku. They've got the domain. No, I've never heard that Beaver Island story. But it's tough living in the UP. So
there we go. The coronation and troubled reign on Beaver Island. Where is Beaver Island?
Beaver Island is in Lake Michigan. I'm on Lake Superior right now.
Wrong lake.
He's a lake supremacist. Starbase Cola is, did Bill go open relations? I don't know that he ever announced it, but I'd heard rumblings of it or people talking about it. But I'm more than positive in his current therapy, trauma coaching and stuff. I've heard him kind of go back on it and say maybe it's not the greatest thing. But I don't know if he'd just say, well, Natasha Helfer's the credentialed spurt, the spurt on this, and you got to go with the credentialed spurt on it. Like, well, look at this. I thought this was interesting from that thank you for smoking. And it's even got the Mormon actor in it saying this part.
What I do, I talk for a living.
What do you talk about?
I speak on behalf of cigarettes.
My mom says cigarettes kill.
Really? Now, is your mommy a doctor?
No.
A scientific researcher of some kind?
No.
Well, she doesn't exactly sound like a credible expert now, does she?
Yeah.
Modern they don't have because we have domain anymore. I think the church must have bought it out from them.
On average, how many ex-Mormon men, like if you leave the Mormonisms, what are your chances of coming across a guy trying to stay away from the porn versus the Mormonisms trying to find a guy who's trying to stay away from the porn? My guess that would be about 5 to 1 that the Mormon guys think they got to be stopping. 5 to 1, is that even high? And the ex-Mormon guys were like, let it go. Yeah. Not just let it go. It is part of my therapeutic process because it's my safe place to goon.
I had a friend a few years ago who he spoke at Sunstone because when he was at BYU, like something I don't know that the John DeLynn side of Mormonism talks about at all is that the whole like apparatus of the conversion therapy for gays back in the 80s has just been turned on straight men who masturbate and use porn. And there's this whole community of people that have been completely fucked up by therapists at BYU. Like I have a friend that talked about this where like he was contemplating going to Mexico to get castration to stop masturbating.
Yeah,
he had so much shame about masturbating.
There's been suicides around it. There really have been.
Yeah.
But were you about to say something, Reese? On?
Yeah.
Well, I was just curious what the culture was like in the LDS church. Is it?
She's making some claims here that it's just 100% like acceptable for men to be that way.
Is it something that's talked about in the like what do you call the men's group at an LDS?
Yeah,
church?
elders quorum or
elders quorum is all about simping.
It's not just talked about. It is brought up almost every one of them.
Okay, and people are pretty open with like their struggles and everything.
No,
they're not.
Nobody wants to say. I mean, maybe every once in a while you'll hear some person go off script and say, "I had a problem," but they're usually pretty avoidant of saying that.
You don't out yourself, but they absolutely stress over and over and over again.
And why don't you out yourself? Is it because then like
I do think that comes down from the top of Mormon. Like you will never hear in Mormonism somebody who's a top level speaker talk about how they were a wayward problem person. It might be like the most mild of thing. Like I was tempted once to not tell my mom the truth about eating a cookie, but they like from the top, like no general authority will talk. There's no version of a pastor who was completely wayward and then completely changed their life around. Like almost all of the people from the top were always good, always.
So that, I mean, that part at least is probably going to create a culture of, it's not going to make it easier for people.
Mm-mm. No, it's not talked a lot about and not a lot of people admit it, but I mean, there's definitely, like Flip said, there's groups of people. There's porn. What is it, like porn addiction, like porn AA stuff all over Provo and that sort of deal. Tons of it. And there's a lot of it. And in fact, I get advertisements for it just like on Facebook. Yeah. If it's just like scrolling through like Facebook shorts and stuff like that.
There are men that are absolutely destroying themselves over guilt for having ordinary heterosexual impulses.
But beyond that too, though, is so many Mormon women, and even this lady is, if you think about it, she's pushing for it, of saying you need that completely out of your life or it's 100% cheating. If that's the concept, if you're looking for that, the place you are going to find that is far more likely inside of the Mormon world than outside of the Mormon world. Like, I think most men, when they, I would dare say almost close to no men, once they leave Mormonism, worry about their porn consumption, and
Well,
you
unless
probably
they
should
become,
start doing it.
unless they become like Catholic or some other religious group.
Yeah, it'd only be a religious thing for sure.
Yeah,
Like, there's
I
not
mean,
going to be like, I'm an atheist, like secular, and I am just 100% never ever going to do that, because it's,
Charles Wagner brings up something that says they're afraid their wives will find out, the same wives who read trashy romance novels. Are there any talks in church about, hey, ladies, you need to not read and watch the trashy chick porn?
Well, that's actually what I had here as the next and final thing before you went. We're pushing over an hour, but
Yeah.
one of that, because she, at the end, like I said, you can watch at the end where she pushes back on being a feminist, and they try to say, no, gooble gobble one of us, gooble gobble one of us, and of course, she has like several different articles, and every single one of them is kind of a little bit of like, this sounds like a cool article for a Substack thing because people will read it and listen to it, but if I stop and think about it, it's completely ignorant to like what reality is, just in the sense of like porn. Men are attracted to porn because current day porn is just like cocaine to the senses, and it doesn't matter like what all that matters in the history is that men always liked attractive bodies. It doesn't matter like what sort of history of anything, that temptation is there for any red-blooded male. They all have it. It's not stemming from some religious whatever sort of upbringing thing, and the women going along with it or not, I mean, I think that's, I just don't see it as any sort of like the women are, no way. Like, the Mormon church is one of the only places I know of where women are empowered to say something and do something about their men being on porn. And
oh yeah,
there's even a talk at some of the conferences about women who've gotten divorced because of porn, and the talks affirm that that was a good choice. I remember those talks. There's like, I think it was Holland that said 2 women ran up to him in an airport and said, "Oh, we both got divorced because our husbands were addicted to porn." And like, "Oh, what's wrong with you guys?" type stuff. And I'm not making that up. I got to dig that up because I'm just pulling that off the top of my head. But I know that that's a talk that's out there. And but women aren't told just to like long suffer porn in the Mormon church. Not at all. Like, if there's any sort of bludgeon that they could use in the Mormon church, they could use the porn thing. Like, you didn't do that, you're failing. You're a failure. If they use a bludgeon.
It's the number one topic of the elders general conference meeting that happens every 6 months.
But it just kind of goes along with one of these things of like these think pieces, and you listen to the think pieces and you stop and think about it and you go, that's just not reality at all. Like, everybody's got the porn problem nowadays because we're all dealing with suddenly having it at our fingertips, and the human race wasn't designed to have that. We weren't ready for that, and so it's a problem everywhere. Women inside and outside of the church are dealing with it and struggling with it just the same. Men inside and outside of the church are struggling with it just the same. But I bet you more men in the church feel like it's something they've got to directly address, or in any church. I think that's one of those pragmatic things that if you pragmatically want a man who's trying to work on that, you're more likely going to get that if they are religious. Hate to break it to you, but I don't know like how many X people will be upset about that, but Bill and RFM just listen to us and say, that's great. I wouldn't be able to be, because a lot of the stuff they talk about later is about being perfection and perfection speech and perfection. Like, yeah, but we wouldn't keep up with what you expect to not be polygamy, lady. We'd fail at that. We would all, we wouldn't, those two, like, for sure at some point in their life or another, but like, I guarantee you they're not keeping perfect on that as good as some Mormon like Kevin is, or something like that, who I know cares about that sort of stuff and wants it out of his life very, very harshly, which he's talked about before in here. Anyway, brings up this thing that came out this week. I lose it already. Dumana, which is maybe the last thing we'll talk about. But yep, we'll cut it. We'll cut it at this. But I swear in my life I had it all pulled up, but gotta X out of everything else. I'll just type it.
Flip. Apparently, the Beaver Island Mormons. Apparently, they were potentially pirates. Maybe.
What?
Yeah. I haven't heard that part. The Wikipedia article talks about it.
I just know that they need to sell T-shirts there about the King of Beaver Island.
So that lady was particularly talking about the problem of men and their porn and all that sort of stuff. And just this week, Shoe on Head, the famous left-wing podcaster, but she's very funny, noticed the female Gooners problem.
Now,
which, if you ask me, in the LDS Church, almost all Twilight reading fits under female Goonership.
millions of sales and almost 20,000 5-star reviews, this book has been absolutely blowing up, especially on TikTok, or Book Talk, as the kids call it. Thousands and thousands of women in particular have been raving about this piece of literature. What piece of literature is it, you may ask? Well, Morning Glory Milking Farm, of course. A popular romance novel about a young woman down on her luck who does what every young woman does when facing financial struggle. She starts an OnlyFans. No, I'm just kidding. She wouldn't degrade herself like that. She gets a job jerking off monsters.
That's right. The Morning Glory Milking Farm.
I have been reading Morning Glory Milking Farm since last night, and I'm obsessed.
This was a good time. It did not disappoint.
If this book is trash, then I am a f***ing raccoon. Give me all of the garbage.
Get your eyeballs on this because it is so good.
I regret to inform you that there is a new epidemic. An epidemic that many have yet to discuss. And that epidemic is female Gooners. Now, for those of you unaware, Gooner is internet slang for someone addicted to porn, and smut is slang for dark romance novels, otherwise known as porn. Many correct about the dangers of porn addiction with men, how it can destroy their lives and their relationships, and most men know the material they consume is weird. That is why they are ashamed of it. That is why they delete their browser history. That is why they go incognito mode. But these bitches freaks out here. They display their smut openly in bookstores. They proudly pose in front of their smut collections. They discuss their smut openly on TikTok. They go to smut conventions and get choked out by 9-foot-tall shirtless wendigos. Now, I know what you are thinking. Shoo, isn't this the pot calling the kettle degenerate? Yes. Yes, it is. But have you considered, it takes one to truly know one. You see, women are strange, fascinating creatures. For centuries, men have tried to figure us out. Our mood is affected by the tides in the moon. We bleed for 5 days and don't die. By painting my face, I can instantly shapeshift from a 4 to a 6. We are truly mysterious, magical creatures. But one of the most mysterious aspects of women to men is our sexuality. You see, us women are not like those disgusting moids. No, we are sophisticated. We are evolved. We don't watch videos of strangers slapping their sweaty bodies together. No, we read about strangers slapping their sweaty bodies together. It's different, okay? You don't understand. It's okay when we do it. So let's talk about it.
Not only is it okay, it's empowering.
Yeah. I mean, there's been years, but Jordan Peterson talking about the Google Analytics of the top 5 female fantasies, and it's, vampire, werewolf, surgeon, pirate, and billionaire?
Yeah.
Let's talk about the rapidly growing popularity of dark romance on TikTok and the recent dark romance convention that ended in disaster. Let's take a break from all this depressing political news and talk about something silly. Not that those political things aren't important, trust me, Uber and Lyft drivers in California the right to union. Talking about how nowadays. So go to Ground of Literature and just flooded it.
Yeah, I'll just comment on a second, but the second half of it, I just want to hear the first little bit. The second half of it gets into a book convention, where some guy went dressed up as one of the characters from this book, and he got sexually assaulted by hundreds of girls, not just one. Like, they all felt it was just okay to go up and grab him and do whatever to him, and
makes sense.
With absolute slop. Spicy slop. You see, books on TikTok are not rated by how well they are written or how good the characters are. No, they are rated by the spice. And what does spice mean? Porn. It means porn. Spice level is very important to book talkers. How much spice does a book have? What are the spiciest books they've ever read? How spicy is the book they're currently reading? Spice. And these spiciest...
All those pictures of all those girls on TikTok, I've watched like a bunch of those. Like, I brought up that other book the other day where one of the things in the book, half of I saw the girls posting about it, and so I went and read what the book is about, and it said the woman gets raped while she had her face cut, and he stuck her face in a shark tank. But beyond all that, like, The Twilight series, like, don't tell me that Twilight series is not like a version of softcore porn, you know, just this guy who just wants to ravage the body of this girl, but he just sits and watches her at night. It's Mormon softcore porn.
For sure.
This book going viral on Book Talk lately is none other than Morning Glory Milking Farm by C.M. Nascosta. Violet is a typical down-on-her-luck millennial, mid-20s, overeducated, and drowning in debt. Oh my god! She's just like me! On the verge of moving into her parents' basement, when a lifeline appears in the form of a very unconventional job in the neighboring Cambric Creek. She has no choice but to grab it with both hands. Morning Glory Farm offers full-time hours, full benefits, and generous pay with no experience needed. There's only one catch. The clientele is grade A certified prime beef. Oh god. With the manly, meaty endowments to... Okay.
Morning Glory Milking Farm is actually a profound critique of late-stage capitalism and toxic masculinity. In this text, we see that the tingling sensation in her coochie is actually the tingling sensation of a Marxist revolution.
This is every fucking breadtube video to me, dude. This is every Jack Saint video. So I actually read the book myself, and
that's a
I'm not
pose.
gonna lie.
I can't tell if that's satire or not.
They really say that and really think. Well, not to mention, if you go back to that Substack lady I was talking about, she brings up capitalism and the male gaze and all that stuff too. It's just. It's all the same.
The 19th Amendment needs to be abolished. So, like I said, the story is basically this millennial named Violet, and she gets a job basically working at Big Pharma in Narnia, where they harvest Minotaur milk to make Viagra for human males. And I read the whole thing. Probably gonna be put on some kind of watch list. But listen, this is my job, okay? I'm not out here like selling feet pics or something. What I do is far more dignified and normal. Now, let's take a look at some of these notes I wrote. Let's see. Big dick and balls. At one point, she says the term, and I quote, the seam of his sack. So I'm reading this, and the whole time I'm thinking, like, okay, he probably has like a human head, right? He probably like looks something like this, like, you know, just a dude with like horns. Then I see the official artwork. That's a cow. Bro is a cow. Bro is a straight up cow. In a few parts, they're being intimate, and it will be like, his hooves clip clop. My hooves will tear up your sheets. And it's like, I'm sorry, his what? At one point, she describes kissing him. And I swear to God, it was more disgusting than anything else described in this book. She's like describing how big and wide his mouth is and how big and like slimy his tongue is. She's like describing the shit, and you're just like, that's a cow. I mean, we are at a solid 5.5 on the Barbeau scale here. This is dangerous territory, folks. She also f***ers his ass. She f***ers the cow's ass. By the way, if you want an uncensored version of this video and all my videos, Patreon. Go to Patreon, become a member. All members get the uncensored version.
I think we understood it.
Of every video, so you can hear me talking about sucking and f***ing and f***ing a cow's asshole. Is that what you freaks want? Anyway, I like how in this fantasy world, student loans still exist. Like, we can imagine a world with minotaurs and humans in a relationship, but we can't imagine a world without student loans. Sad. Oh, and he has...
So it gets into a lot of different things about later, if you watch her whole video, about like why women choose the bear over the men. Getting back to that meme, because obviously, because this, you know, they're going to intellectualize all of it, of why it's empowering and good and safe and all that sorts of stuff, and they need to shout from the rooftop their abilities, their reasons for doing it, why it's empowering and good. You guys are on about Beaver Island, though. Like, Beaver Island took everybody's imagination away. Is it because it sounded like something naughty there?
Sounds like a wonderful place.
Beaver Island sounds like a wonderful place. That's where the strange. That's where the strange is. Oh, wait, I mean, the string.
You'll take some string.
No, Mormon pirates, buried treasure.
Yeah, it's gotta be up there.
And he had his own scriptures that he got his own Joseph Smith revelation. There we go. The Mormon Kingdom. Yeah, good times.
Anyway, just to sum up all the points on the simpin for those for Julie Hinks and that other gal, all those general things. Down H. Oaks has the better. Has what would you say? Not better. We're always like, what's healthy and unhealthy? I'll use the Bill Real terminology. What's healthy and unhealthy? Down H. Oaks gave you the healthy plan.
Yeah.
You guys are all, what you have on offer is all less healthy.
Yeah. No, it's one of those. I mean, because like it's almost a trope. No, that's not quite the right word, but like feminists are so miserable while they talk about how feminism is the way to happiness. And of course, that's a great irony, you know?
Yeah, for sure.
Alrighty.
You good to call it a whole show right there?
I don't know. Do you still want to take over? You want to solo for another hour and a half to fill in the time?
I don't know if I have another hour and a half of stuff anyway, but
Yeah, I gotta go to bed.
I
All this work
got
is catching up with me.
yeah. The rest of it's just all like little clips. I have a clip of Robbie Starbuck showing the owner, the old CEO of Cracker Barrel, some of the events that they funded, and him being like, "What is this?"
Is that loaded up?
You want to see it?
Yeah. How long is it? Just a couple
No,
minutes?
just a minute. Yeah. Just 1
Okay,
minute.
we'll do that one, then I'll bail.
Okay.
Because that does sound funny.
Present share screen. Not female Gooners. Cracker Barrel.
There's a video here that we're going to play.
Hearing it?
This is an event.
You hearing it?
Yeah.
And that Cracker Barrel sponsored, that they had children at. And I just want to get a sense from you if this is something that Cracker Barrel stood for, if it was family friendly, if this was something that you feel like is straying from the original values of the company. So we'll play it here.
I don't know anything about that. You say Cracker Barrel sponsored that?
They sponsored that.
I didn't know anything about
Who's
it.
this old guy?
He used to work for it. I think he used to run it.
They sponsored this. There were little kids at it.
I had no idea it was out there.
But it took me catching them, and millions of people seeing it, that Cracker Barrel was doing this, for them to come out and say, okay, we got this wrong, we're going to stop.
Well, it never would have been done while I was involved with it.
That's funny.
Yeah,
That's a question. I probably know that.
The true last video. I think I've shown this one before, but
trans women because you're transphobic. I don't respect them because they're women. Trans inclusive radical misogyny. There's a better way to hate. You don't respect trans women because you're transphobic. I don't respect them because they're women. Trans inclusive radical misogyny. There's a better way to hate.
That's a good one.
yeah.
All right.
That's it. Thanks. Anything else you wanted to say, Reese, though, for Flip Bells? I think I might bail early too and go walk the dog early.
No, I don't have much.
You've been doing any?
Go try out a sauna.
Go
Thanks
try
for
out a
making up the
sauna.
numbers.
Sauna corner from Risto and
Well, there's some in
booze.
Utah.
You guys, two
What is
booze
this,
guys
like
here
an
together.
Airbnb?
Booze guys, you guys could at least do a booze corner.
I'm trying to think. It's like I've been cutting way back on
Double
booze.
do. This is really the end. Double booze corner from two booze enthusiasts. I got to pull up your booze corner.
Is there anything that I'm trying to think.
I haven't been drinking booze. I've been smoking Dunhill cigarettes.
Oh yeah.
What are those?
I missed those. They're the Rolls Royce of cigarettes.
Really? Well, where do you get
No,
them?
when I was a smoker, Dunhill's like you'd have to splurge for them, but they were good. The thing like I could never track down. I wonder if they even exist anymore. When I was a smoker, my dad used to always tell me about Balkan Sobranis, which were like my dad was younger, he said that was like the fancy cigarette, and they had a little gold band on the filter, and they were the fancy thing. But I wonder if you can even get Balkan Sobranis anymore.
Well, tobacco's making a comeback. Like I see some of the health hacker crowd.
Buy Sobrani cigarettes online. You should order some and review them.
No way you can do it in Utah.
Oh no, not in Utah, not a chance.
I've tried to like order cigars online, and it's like the one place you can't is Utah.
Yeah, but it looks like it still exists. Maybe I don't know. Audience, what's the booze question? I feel like I've answered all.
If there's two people who could pull booze stuff from their buttocks, but both of you have gone and become teetotalers.
Not quite. I still drink. I drink on Snack Sabbath.
I wish I drank more, but
what is this, an ex-Mormon community where we're all stopping drinking and we're all preaching don't do the porns, and we're preaching having the, like, what is this? This isn't rock and roll.
Flip Belgian beers.
I mean, because they tend to be so strong, I almost never drink them anymore. In the past, I sure enjoyed them. Belgian beer is interesting in that, because, like, German beer was always famous because of the Reinheitsgebot that they still follow mostly, which says that beer can only be made of grain, water, yeast, malt, and hops. Whereas Belgians never had that rule. Belgians are like, no, we'll put fruit in it, we'll put sugar in it, we'll do whatever we fucking want to, and which is why Belgian beer stands out on its own. Belgium is like the only country in the world that beer pairings are more common on menus than wine pairings. And the other thing that makes Belgian beer a lot of fun is they do a lot of farmhouse style ales, like naturally fermented, spontaneously fermented. And so they get that kind of sour farmhousey funk. In fact, your neck of the woods, there's a lot of good farmhouse ales,
Really?
particularly in Wisconsin. Like, what do they call in Wisconsin? There's a famous brewery in Wisconsin that makes really good farmhouse ales. But the Belgian beer, for people who don't like beer, are the lambics, which is a farmhouse ale that is aged, that is then blended with the same farmhouse ale, but with fruit added into it. And you mix a young version of the fruit beer with the old farmhouse ale, and it makes a really delicious fruity beer. And they tend to be sweet because they use fresh fruit. And that's the beer for people who hate beer. And you can actually get those at Harmon's in Utah, which is kind of crazy. But lambics are a lot of fun. But like when you get into those like 8, 9, 10% mega beers, like they're just too much for me nowadays. Oh, actually, you know what? I have a story to tell about
Wisconsin Belgian Red, Dairy State.
What is that?
That's what Grok thought it was.
Well,
Sorry.
and in the Belgian beers many of them made by monks. I'm rooting for President Oaks to make beer great again in the Mormon world.
New Glarus. I bet you can get them in your neck of the woods. New Glarus is a really good farmhouse ale producer from Wisconsin. But I do have actually a fun story. Well, fun for me mostly. In fact, you were there, Chris. It was at your house. But one of the most famous Belgian abbey ales, the beers that are made by monks, is Westvleteren from Flemish Belgian country. And it's still actually made by actual monks. And they have a rule that we make beer to live. We don't live to make beer. And getting your hands on this stuff is fantastically difficult. Like, it's been a while since I've looked at it, but they have a website that's like poorly translated from Flemish. And it might have changed because, it's been like more than 10 years since I've looked. But at the time I looked, the process for getting Westvleteren beer, and they make 3 kinds. They make 8, 10, and 12. Those are what they're called. And in order to get it, like, you had to call a phone number and leave a message, and then they might call you back. But if they called you back, you could reserve up to 1 case of 24 bottles of each kind, 8, 10, and 12. And then the way you got your beer is that you had to show up at their abbey. Like, they give you like a week period of time, and you had to let them know when you were coming. You had to tell them the license plate of the car you would be driving. And then when you got there, you had to sign a document promising that you would not sell their beer on the secondary market. And every once a couple of years, like BBC will even have a report about it, where they will put out another public announcement saying, guys, please stop selling our beer on the secondary market. We don't like that you do that. Like, because it spoils the, for one thing, they don't like the idea of people overpaying for their beer, but it's one of the most sought after beers in the world. And my sister got her hands on an 8 and a 12. I never got to try the 10, but she sent me a bottle, or she brought me a bottle of the 8 and the 12. and me and another beer friend tried it in Chris Hanna's kitchen. And so that was the first fun part of the story. But then what also made it fun was that a year or two later, I went to visit my brewer friend in Denver. And I forget the name of it, but in downtown Denver, there's a famous beer bar. It's like the headquarters of the World Brewing Festival or something like that. And, they've got a gajillion beers on the, that's on draft, and they've got big refrigerators, and it's like all epic. But then they've got a blue book, and the blue book is like their seller book. It's like, this is our special selection of beers that we keep downstairs. These aren't on display, but you can peruse their big blue book. And, like everything on there, like would have like an entry and would say what it is and how much it costs, and then a description of the beer. And I was curious, and so I flipped over to the Westvleteren, and it said Westvleteren. This is a Flemish Abbey ale, all this stuff. And then where normally they have the price listed, it said, "Caught you looking, no one can get this beer." And it was me and my buddy that I was with that got to try it, and we're like, we got to try it. So that made me feel special. That was my beer royalty moment. That
how was it?
It was really, really good. Like, like a lot of these things, it's like when you, like the first time I tried a $300 bottle of wine, like it's not 100 times better than $30 wine, but it's something special. It's something rare. But like, yeah, it is really, really well-made beer. Because part of the problem with a lot of those high-powered beers, especially the American microbrew versions of them, is they get really fusely. They get, they just get kind of rot gutty. That's like the really, really good Belgian beers that are high alcohol. What makes them good is that they have the alcohol without getting into that just gasoline-y, rot gutty thing. Like that's the trick. Is getting the high alcohol without it tasting high alcohol. And these beers absolutely had that. Like they were really, really good.
Yeah, like a Shemai Blue, that'll creep up on you fast.
Paleo gluten-free organic wine. I made somebody smile in my wine store once because there's some people from out of state, and I can't even remember how it came up, but like I think they were shopping for somebody else, and they said something about organic wine. And I said, like, well, I don't believe in magic. And the guy smiled so big, and it turned out he was a chemist and just completely annoyed by the whole organic thing. Because, like, because chemists know, like, organic is a marketing term. It's totally non-scientific, and people are like, oh, do you have any organic wine? Like, no, I don't have magic wine. I have, wine that has this label on it that you seem to care about, but it doesn't mean anything meaningful at all. I mean, it just means they sprayed shit on the vines, like literally. That's part of what organic means. If that really matters,
instead of chemicals.
No, so the big woo thing is biodynamic wine. Like organic, like at least has some kind of ideas behind it about like, well, we don't use processed chemicals or whatever, like even though they do. But biodynamic wine is literally astrology type shit, but assigned to growing wine grapes and making wine, and it is completely stupid. But anyway, that's my booze corner. Delicious.
I knew you'd do it. It's like Hassan yelling "place" at the dog. I can just yell "booze" at Flip, and he behaves like a prop. But you deliver stuff out. It's like Adam Carolla. Carolla has always impressed me. Like his stuff he prepares is all meh, but when somebody throws something that's brand new at him out of nowhere, he like just gives out like the most kind of perfectly set, almost like it's previously performed stand-up comedy complaining about something. But when you ask Flip to suddenly talk about booze and he gets going, it's like, this sounds like you prepped this. This sounds like you prepped this, and you're a radio host who does this all the time, and you had it ready for the day.
I just really like beer.
Yeah.
I am because I'm going out of my mind. In fact, part of why I'm working so much is just to keep me distracted before I get back to the UK. But that's one of the things I'm going to try to do more of, because last time I didn't go too far out of my way to find locally made beer. But I am going to try to track down some like real English microbrewery type stuff. Just because, man, like it kind of ruined me when I went there, because it really was beer heaven for me. Because like I mentioned this. I think I've mentioned on the podcast a week or two ago, but I stopped to get a po' boy. I saw somebody advertise there's a Creole joint in Salt Lake, and I'm like, oh, I'll see if they make a decent po' boy. And in their same parking lot was a microbrewery that I had never encountered before. And I went in and I was looking at their fridge, and I'm like, do you have anything under 5%? And the guy was obviously the brewer there. He's like, can't, like, nobody wants that. Like, we made a 6% and everybody complained that it was too low. And so, like, we're cranking out the 7, 8, 9 stuff. I'm just like, see, that's, I hate that. Like, and, you know, and I bought the can of their pub ale, which was 7%, which is like, to me, that's kind of blasphemy. Like, a session ale should be 5 maximum. But, you know, like that, but that's the market in America. Is like everybody just wants that ethanol per dollar blast thing, you know, and you can't, in Utah anyway, the lowest alcohol beer you can find is Guinness at 4%. Next to that is Busch Light at 4.1%.
Did you? My parents are watching it. Did you see? There's a show about like the Guinness Empire.
No,
there's a BBC TV show about the Guinness Empire.
Is it
like Sopranos drama,
Oh.
but supposedly based off the real people?
I mean, I'd be just more interested in like a lame documentary about how you make beer, but that's another thing that bugs me though. Like just something that's always bugged me about them. I mean, I've always been annoyed by marketing generally, but like with booze, the marketing is like all the stupid blue crap is cranked way, way, way up high. And one of the things that always bugs me is like Guinness is like based on a recipe from 1635. Like, fuck you, no, it's not. Like, you didn't have steam jacketed wort or I can't think of the mash tuns, you know, like the whole nitrogen thing, like the making Guinness with nitrogen for extra super creaminess, like started in like the 70s, you know, like that's a pretty recent thing. But like you're using grain and malts and stuff that like have been genetically bred in the modern days. Like you know, the most common malt for making English ales, Maris Otter, is like, you know, it's the most commonly used thing for home brews and for microbrews and for just about all English style ales. It's like totally ubiquitous. And it was invented at a university in like the 1960s. You know, it's a modern thing. And just like, so it just bugs me when they're like, we're based on a recipe from 1640s. No, it wasn't. Like you didn't have reverse osmosis water filters. You didn't have any of the stuff that's in this beer today. Like, don't fucking lie. But they do. They always do.
There it is right there. House of Guinness. I guess it's on Netflix. My parents, who have never drank a sip of anything in their lives, are watching it because they like Irish stuff.
Guinness is good. I really like Guinness. That's a good beer.
I like Guinness on tap, but not
the bottle. Well, so because there's the Guinness export, which is like 7%, and for me that ruins it. Like one of the things I like about Guinness is that it is the lowest alcohol beer I can find in Utah. But I would be so like when I was in the UK, there was forget what it was. It's from Spain. It's weird. One of the most popular beers on tap in Northwest England was an English style ale from Spain, but it was good. And it was like, I think 3.4. And I found beers that were like 3.1. I'm like, this is perfect. This is what I want. But absolutely unobtainable in Utah. And I'm not even sure, like, in where you're from in Michigan, can you get anything under 4?
Minnesota.
Or Minnesota?
Yeah, that's a good question.
M's.
Under 4. I mean, it's
like
not that I go looking very often. I don't know. I feel like most of them are like 5, 6 and up.
Yeah, because like Budweiser in America is 5. And just out of curiosity, I bought a can of Budweiser when I was in England, and theirs it's 4.5. Like, so even their Budweiser is turned down a little bit to suit British tastes, you know? Because apparently, like, and I was actually just watching a thing about British beer on YouTube before coming on here, and, you know, they were making a joke about the latest IPA. So, you know, they have a little bit of that craze, but like my experience there was that like there's like definitely a market for lower alcohol beers. But like in Iceland, you can buy 1%, 2%, and 3% beers. That sounds like heaven for me. I would love to be able to buy 2% beer, but it's just not a thing.
Yeah.
What's this picture?
That's the sauna. That's where we're at.
Oh,
that's what you're in
is
right
that
now?
right on Lake Michigan?
That's not what I'm in. No, but it's just, yeah, it's right on Lake Michigan.
Wow.
It's not the outhouse?
I've wanted to see those big old lakes, man. For a while I went down a YouTube rabbit hole of just looking up all the shipwrecks on those lakes.
Oh,
There's been a million of them.
Yeah.
Anyway.
And this,
alrighty.
Where we're at is nice because it's not like resorts or built up. It's like small cottages.
Is it in that weird in between place, like in between the two lakes, going up Michigan to?
We're like way up north. So
like there's the Michigan where it jumps the lakes. Like to get there, you'd have to go through the other state to get up.
Yeah, there's like lower Michigan here, and then the upper Michigan up here, and then we're like way up here. So in Lake Superior.
In Lake Superior.
Well, yeah, like that whole area is surrounded by Lake Superior.
Like I
gotta look at a map.
Here, I'm showing it. I don't know.
One more thing about paleo wine, because I remember
that upper pink part.
Well, the way upper, like way, yeah, right up there.
Wow.
So that's all surrounded by Lake Superior. That's that part.
Wow, I want to go to that place.
And there's it's a lot of somewhat economically depressed.
So my guitarist has a house, one of those. You use the weird. They have like weird names. You guessed one of them, kind of close once. Then.
Yeah. Where do you know where his is?
I remember you guessed once, and it was like real close. But they have like, what are the names of those places up there?
Yeah, Marquette, Munising, Ironwood,
Eagle Harbor.
Eagle Harbor's one. Copper Harbor.
Toivola. I'm just looking at names on there.
Yeah. That's a Finnish name.
Oh.
Really?
There's a place called Gay.
Yeah. Well, I've been there.
You've been gay?
I think they have a gay bar there.
The gay
really?
Bar.
Yeah, in Gay. It's the bar in Gay. Yep.
It's a gay bar. That's brilliant. Oh, there it is. I just found it on Google Earth.
Yep.
Just about paleo wine real quick. Related was because I remember talking to Chris about when people would come in asking, like, it always, because it just bugs me, and I'd always kind of give people this rant that would disappoint them, but they'd come in asking for low calorie wine. It's like, well, okay, the calories in wine are from the alcohol, so what you're asking for is low alcohol wine. And I just remember Chris saying, "Oh, they want low calories." That's what they're after, is low calories. Like, yeah, there's no free lunch here, guys. Like, drink less. That's your low calorie wine, is drink less.
Yeah, because the booze is just a calorie. Yeah.
Like, the only calories that you're going to find in wine are from sugar, and dry wines basically have no sugar, and then all the rest of the calories come from the alcohol. So if you look at low calorie wine, they're just 7-8% alcohol. They're literally just low alcohol wine. That's how that works. And so, of course, people who drink it just end up drinking more of it. So they end up getting all their calories anyway. So, like, yeah, just drink less. That's your solution. Your solution to hangovers and calories is drink less. But all right, you got 20 minutes of booze corner out of me. I got to bail.
It was probably longer. Sorry to make you. You were scotch free, and then we got you ranting. So,
yeah, and I'll be coming back when I come back from Scotland, because we're planning on going to a distillery or two, so I'll have more stories. But alrighty, I'm taking off.
All right, thanks for popping
Bye,
in.
everybody.
Have fun.
See you guys.
Lake Superior.